36 years ago, a downtown boy decided to ask a beautiful girl in uptown to marry him. Out of his surprise, the girl and her family said yes. The whole town was shocked about her decision because she was the most beautiful girl in town, was born and raised in a wealthy family, good educated family. He was an average boy, was born and raised in an average family, had 9 little brothers and sisters. No one in the town understood about the girl decision, and they talked about it days after day, month after month. Of course, the decision brought that boy lots of trouble. He got beat up so many times by other other boys who were jealous with him. The engagement ceremony was simple because his family could not afford for a fancy one. The uptown people gained more curious because they knew lots of wealthy families used to ask her to be their daughter-in-law, but she refused. They started to make some cruel girls, like maybe the girl got pregnant with someone and he didn't want the baby, so she had to marry with this downtown boy to save the family's face. Let me give you some additional information. At that time, having baby before getting married was unacceptable. The pregnancy female was considered to be a disgraceful creature for her family and even for the whole town. She even could be killed or suicide from depression. After the engagement party, people changed their attitude toward her in the family. They gave her and family such a hard time during that period. Not just the people in uptown, even the people in downtown where he lived said something like she would be a doll in the family, good to look but useless because she was beautiful. A month later, the boy left the little town to the southern region. Of course, more and more bad rumors about her were made by people. She didn't care about it. Now she act like she didn't care about it, but who knows how many teardrops fell down when she was alone. She continued her study and got accepted in a university, became a chemistry teacher. 6 years later, the boy suddenly came back to marry her. Now, people knew the reason why he left her after the engagement party. He went to the most developed country to seek for his change. He worked in a construction site in the morning and went to classes at night to study. He got accepted to a university and became a construction engineer. During his study, he had to work to pay for the tuition, live in Spain, and support his family in the hometown and in-law family. It, do, he graduated from university. He worked so hard and finally had a little saving money to celebrate a wedding ceremony. It was a little bit more fancy than an engagement ceremony, but instead of using family's money that his dad hardly to make, he used his own money. The ceremony was held in a Catholic church. Did I mention that he was a Buddhist and to be able to marry her, he had to give up his religion, became a Christian Catholic, which is unbelievable at that time. I can tell her father was the happiest people because he knew he made a right decision for his little daughter. After the wedding, she gave up her job and followed him to the southern region. At this period of time, her family was no longer wealthy because the communists took away everything from her family. The young couple left the town with no access. They lived in a small apartment in the city. They even could not afford to buy a bed, so they slept on the blanket. He went to work in the early morning, she stayed home, cooked and waited for him. The first son was born. He was so busy, so he missed the baby firstborn moment. They still live in that apartment, but now has some home furnishment. He worked harder not only be able to support the baby, but also be able to support his family and his in-law family. She did some home job like fix clothes, put ice in the teddy bears. When his son turned 5, his dad passed away. The family came back to the hometown, used all the money they earned to pay for the funeral ceremony. His siblings were still too young. After the ceremony, they came back and continued to work as hard as possible. I have no idea how hard they had to work, but now, at this moment, he is a CEO and a member of board of directors of a biggest construction company in Vietnam. They have two more kids, one boy and one girl. They are living in a three-floor beautiful house instead of a small, uncomfortable apartment. All their kids are stud- all their kids are studying in a good private school in the city. She doesn't need to do home jobs, which used to make her stay up late to finish them, and her hand got sore every day. She's a housewife now. He hired a housemaid to help her take care of the children and housework. He brought some of his siblings to the cities. Some still stay in the hometown to take care of his mom and their family's farm. All of them were well supported by him and had their own successful business. Of course, he did the same thing with his in-law family. I'm pretty sure you all know who's the main characters in my story, right? Yes, the Data Boy is my dad and the beautiful Hotel Girl is my mom. Together they work through hard times of their life, make a fairy tale become true. I cannot describe how grateful and thankful I am to my parents. I am so happy to be part of their amazing life and to be loved by them. My heart will be always toward them, and I know their heart will always full of love for me and brothers. Daddy, mommy, congratulations on your 30th wedding anniversary.